Hey folks, Sean here with Integrity Credit Restoration. And one of the biggest questions, or the question that I get asked the most by potential customers, is what exactly is credit repair? So, credit repair is when a third party company, often called a credit repair organization, attempts to get involved in removing um, items from your personal credit report to boost your FICO score. Credit repair is 100% legal, and in fact, in 1996, the federal government enacted a set of laws called CROA, which is the Federal Credit Repair Organization, um, which all of the credit repair organizations operate under. So, credit repair, basically, Integrity Credit Restoration would take you on as a client. We would then pull a detailed credit analysis, which is 25, 30 pages long. It's in depth. It's every single aspect of your credit. And most people don't understand that when it comes to your credit bureau, your credit file, everything impacts your credit. So, for instance, if you went to a car lot and you tried to secure a loan for financing for a vehicle, and that salesman just typed in one number wrong on your credit, on your social security number, that number now becomes associated with your credit file. So if somebody else down the road pulls your credit and they see, oh, well, there's two socials attached, even though this one is just one number off, it does send off red flags. And typically, that company that you were trying to get financing from will back out of that because it looks, suspicious to them. Because again, everything to them is on paper. They're not basing anything off of a formal relationship with you. So credit repair. Once we go through line by line, and you determine this is not my account. Yes, this is my account. Whatever the case may be, then we're going to go into what we call the disputing process, where we begin to form letters to fire off to the three major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, to get the inaccurate, unverifiable information and stuff that does not pertain to you, and get that removed off of your credit. First of all, we're also going to dispute any inquiries, because inquiries will bring your score down. If you apply for one car loan today and then another car loan next weekend, those are hard inquiries that are going to bring your credit score down. However, if you say you do 3 or 4 car loans in the same day, then they will generally just take one inquiry, and the rest of them will fall into a shopping around type of thing. So they won't ding you for every single inquiry on that specific day. But if it's broke up into a week or 2 weeks or whatever, then that's basically you trying to get credit any way you possibly can. And if one person turns you down, obviously the next person is probably going to turn you down as well. So when we do our disputing process, we hit all three major credit bureaus with every single thing that we have to submit. And then we wait for them to reply back. Most of the time, they're going to reply back with a standard stall, what we call a stall letter, basically saying that, we found no reason to investigate or this, that, and the other. And we just continue escalating the dispute process because the credit bureau has their game that they play. And as a credit repair organization, we also have a game plan that we follow because we know how they operate. And, we match their game by sending another round escalated. And then if we need to another round escalated beyond that until we get the results that, that we need or that we're looking for in regards to your credit file. Ultimately, at the end of the process, your credit is 100% accurate at that point. Your name, address, employment, social, all that information has been corrected. There's not 15, 20 different addresses on the account. There's not 20 different employers on the account. All of that is cluttered, and anytime somebody pulls your credit, they start looking at why they lived at 7 different addresses in the last 2 years. They look at all of that stuff, and all of that is a negative towards your credit. And if we get all of that removed, then that ultimately will play into raising your credit score. Typical credit scores can be raised through credit restoration 100, 200 points. So if you start the process in a 500 state, you could be in the mid 700s by the end of the credit restoration process, which, there is no definite time frame. For some people, it can take as little as 3 months to raise it 100, 150 points. Others, it could take some time. It really all depends on you, the client. If you are maintaining your payments, keeping your accounts that you currently have now current while the process is going on, because if we're trying to restore your credit or repair your credit and you're not making payments on time, I mean, what benefit are we to you at this point? Again, 150, 200 points, sometimes more. Sometimes people don't, get that, that big of an increase. And again, it's all on the individual person and your credit situation. Now, one thing that we do that's different than most of the industry is we have a model set up. Every credit repair restoration company has their initial work that we do in the very beginning, getting your file together, doing the credit analysis, running that report, going over that report with you, the client, where that has a monetization attached to it. But one of the guidelines under CROA is that credit repair organizations cannot charge for work that has not been rendered. So we can't say, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're going to offer you credit repair for 6 months at $150 a month, and this is your total amount. So most credit repair agencies charge a monthly subscription, whether they're producing for you or not. Integrity Credit Restoration, what we do is we obviously have our initial work going into the relationship, but we do what we call pay per deletion. So basically, you don't pay anything if we don't change anything. So if we file disputes for you and nothing comes back and we don't get anything removed from your credit, which is unheard of, to be honest. But if that were the case and nothing came back removed from your credit, then there's no charge. If we send a first round of disputes and say we send 15 items that we dispute on your credit report, 9 of them come back as being deleted, then at that point, we're going to invoice you for those 9 items. Okay. So you're only paying for what it is that you are actually receiving. So that's kind of that 100% satisfaction. If we don't remove anything, you pay nothing other than that initial fee going into the relationship, the setting up your account, all of that process. But the actual disputing process, the credit repair process, if we don't produce for you, you don't pay anything. So that is the overall process of what credit repair is. And I know just in this brief video, it seems like, well, what are you actually doing? You're sending letters to the credit bureau. It's a very intricate process. And so if this was something that everybody could do, everybody would have good credit then, right? So, but that's not the case. So the credit bureau, because their revenue comes from bad credit, their agenda is to keep you with bad credit. So, of course, anytime you try to dispute and have negative information removed, inaccurate information removed, unverifiable information removed from your credit, it ultimately is going to raise your credit score up, which is going to take you out of that bad credit situation into a fair, even a good credit situation where now you go and apply for a vehicle or a home loan where the vehicle that you previously financed with a 600 credit score, your interest rate was probably 12, 14, 16%. Now your credit score is in the 700s, and now your interest rate is coming in at 4, 5, 7, 9%, saving you thousands of dollars at the end of that contract because you're paying at a lower interest rate. You're saving yourself money. Obviously, banks, lending institutions, they make their money off of the interest that they charge. The worse your credit, the higher interest, the more money they get paid. The higher your credit, the lower the interest, the less money they make on the deal. So it is in their best interest to keep your credit low, your credit score low. And so they do tend to give pushback to credit repair agencies because they assume that the average customer, once they get that first letter that they really don't understand what they're reading to begin with, says that, no, we're not going to open an investigation. No, we're not going to remove this inquiry. No, we're not going to. They just automatically push to the side and say, well, that didn't work. Let me push on. We don't say, no, that didn't work. We continue with the next step in the process and the next step in the process until we get the desired result for that inquiry. So again, that's why it is different doing it yourself versus having a credit repair company do that for you on your behalf.